Coming up, one person is dead and several others are injured following a shooting in Virginia. Meanwhile, severe weather continues to affect Oklahoma, where the death toll climbed again over the weekend. And we have an update on the condition of a hiker in Hawaii who was found after being lost in the woods for more than 2 weeks.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Monday, May the 27th. It's Memorial Day. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Will Puckett. Well, it's foggy in most of the area and it's humid everywhere, and it's not going to change for much of the day. Luckily, we have Brandon, who is at least a nice guy, to bring us the bad news. So, Brandon, lay it out for us. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. And we're going to see again, just like he said, foggy and humid conditions. Not as hot today, thankfully. Just a couple of degrees cooler because of the simple fact we're going to see some cloud cover early before the skies clear out this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Mountain Parkway. I promise you that. It's Slade, and look at that fog up there this morning. Very thick and dense. I-64 thick and dense. US 119 not that bad, but you see wind overnight there, kind of breezy across parts of the area, but you're seeing low visibility, a mile, 2 miles or less across the area, zero visibility in Williamsburg this morning. So be careful of that. Temperatures in the 60s, anywhere from about 63 to 68 at this point, climbing just a little bit across the state. We see anywhere from 71 in Nashville, 70 Owensboro, close to 70 in Paducah, and Charleston, Cincinnati in the low 60s there, along with Tri-Cities. 86 your forecast high, record of 90 set back on this day in 2012. Our average high is 77, and you see those temperatures are going to climb not as fast as they usually do, only into the upper 80s or mid to upper 80s by this afternoon. Will?
All righty, Brandon. Thank you. The search continues this morning for the suspect in a deadly shooting in Whitley County. Deputies are looking for Nicholas Rucker. On Sunday, dogs helped search the area, and ground and air units looked from above in the Pruitt Bend area. On Friday, Kentucky State Police issued an arrest warrant for Rucker, who is wanted for the murder of Vicky Connor. Police say Rucker was Connor's boyfriend, and Connor died after she was shot last Wednesday afternoon. A former Kentucky jail deputy charged with manslaughter in the death of an inmate has pleaded guilty to a lesser count. News outlets report former deputy Alicia Beller from Putnam, West Virginia, entered the plea Friday in Boyd County to wanton endangerment. The agreement calls for diversion instead of prison time. Well, at least one person is dead and 9 others injured after a shooting at a neighborhood gathering in Chesapeake, Virginia. Police were called to the scene late Saturday night for reports of traffic congestion and people refusing to move their cars from the area. While on the way there, dispatchers were notified about gunshots being fired in the same area. Police say the victims were taken to hospitals. No word on their condition or who is behind the shootings. Meanwhile, another weekend shooting, this one near a New Jersey bar, also left 10 people hurt. It happened in Trenton early Saturday morning. 5 men and 4 women were shot. 2 of the men are in critical condition. A 5th woman was hurt in the chaos, but not hit by gunfire. Police have not made any arrests. This is the second shooting in Trenton in less than a year that has left multiple people hurt. In political news this morning, President Trump is in Japan, where on Sunday he met with his counterpart, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. They both hit the links and sat ringside at a sumo championship. But as CBS's Weijia Jiang reports, a controversial tweet is putting a damper on the trip.
President Trump started his first full day in Japan with one of his favorite pastimes, playing golf. He and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe tweeted out this selfie showing off big smiles. But from the golf course, the president also posted this message. North Korea fired off some small weapons, which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me. I have confidence that Chairman Kim will keep his promise to me. The short-range missiles could strike Japan, a concern Abe has repeatedly stressed to the president.
Some of the activity that's taken place, as you can see from the president's Twitter, isn't something that's bothering the president. He still feels good about the relationship that he has.
Mr. Trump did not mention Pyongyang when he spoke to reporters before dinner.
The Prime Minister and I talked a lot today about trade and military and various other things. I think we had a very productive day.
President Trump ended speculation he and Abe would announce a bilateral trade deal during this trip, tweeting they are making great progress in negotiations, but much will wait until after Japan's elections in July. The day was not all business. President Trump and the First Lady attended a sumo wrestling championship.
I hereby award you the United States President's Cup.
And he presented a 4.5-foot trophy to the winner. The president has said he finds sumo fascinating.
I've always wanted to see sumo wrestling, so it was really great.
The itinerary was carefully planned to please President Trump, and for lunch the Japanese served one of his favorite meals, double cheeseburgers made with U.S. beef. Tomorrow the president will receive an honor when he becomes the first world leader to meet Japan's newly installed emperor, who will host a formal banquet for the president at the Imperial Palace. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Tokyo.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration has declared an emergency to bypass Congress and expedite billions of dollars in arms sales to various countries, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The word of the arms deal comes on the same day President Trump announced he's sending an additional 1,500 troops to the Middle East. Their goal is to help U.S. allies deter and defend against Iran. Part of the deal includes fighter jets, additional missiles, and intelligence surveillance. A tool created by the U.S. government is now being used for cyber attacks. The attacks were traced to North Korea, Russia, and now China. It's called Eternal Blue, and it was built by the National Security Agency. A new report from cybersecurity company Symantec states hackers with Chinese government intelligence got a hold of the program. It's been used to spread malware that has paralyzed hospitals, airports, rail and shipping operators, ATMs, and factories that produce critical vaccines. In other news this morning, Oklahoma now has an $85 million settlement agreement with Teva Pharmaceuticals. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter says the agreement is over Teva's role in fueling the state's opioid epidemic. The terms of the settlement agreement may take up to 2 weeks to finalize. The money will go to the state once it's received. The funds will then be used to fight the opioid crisis in Oklahoma. Well, turning now to weather. Oklahoma has been battered by severe weather in the past week. The 6 people are dead after floods, storms, and tornadoes struck the state. John Lawrence has more.
A state of emergency is in effect for all 77 counties in Oklahoma.
We're starting knocking doors, clearing doors to make sure that people are alive.
El Reno, nearly 30 miles west of Oklahoma City, among the areas hit especially hard. An EF3 tornado struck the city Saturday evening.
I opened the front door and we heard sirens. At that point in time, we just, jerked the kids up out of bed and threw them in the closet and put pillows over them. We didn't know where it was.
2 people confirmed dead from the twister, dozens of others injured. A mobile home park crushed to rubble.
It's just horrific when you go there and you see all these walls laying down. It was absolutely decimated. Those trailers were absolutely just taken apart.
Major storms as well in Sapulpa, a Tulsa suburb.
Sounded like a train. It roared, and then we heard glass breaking, which were the windows.
Trees, power lines, and buildings were downed or damaged.
Everything's in the pile down there. It's not even a trailer, it's a pile.
The National Weather Service says the central and western part of the country could see more heavy rains and thunderstorms over the next few days. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now, there have been more than 170 reported tornadoes in the Midwest during this spring storm system. A gas storage tank fire that burned for hours in West Virginia is out this morning. Officials say a 1 million gallon natural gas storage tank in Tyler County caught fire Saturday afternoon. More than 12 people had to leave their homes while crews fought the blaze. The tank is owned by Dominion Resources. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. A woman in Hawaii who was missing for more than 17 days after going on what was supposed to be a short hike was released from the hospital yesterday. Amanda Eller was found in a dense forest on Maui late Friday, dehydrated and injured. She had lost 20 pounds, broke her legs, had cuts on her ankles, and had a severe sunburn. But she still had her smile. Speaking from her hospital bed, she thanked more than 200 volunteers that scoured the 2,000-acre reserve night and day.
I have the most gratitude and respect and appreciation. I can't even put it into words for the people that have helped me, for the people that have prayed for me.
Medical officials say they were surprised at the relatively healthy condition Eller was found in and expect her to make a full recovery. Now, also in Hawaii, a 65-year-old California tourist died after he was bitten by a shark while swimming off the coast of Maui. A banquet of flowers sits next to a shark-sighted sign on the beach where a 65-year-old man was brought to shore after being bitten on Saturday morning. Bystanders on the beach watched in horror while the attack happened.
They pulled the man up. He looked unconscious when they transferred him to the other gurney, and we could see that they were trying to do CPR on him. But as we got closer, I saw some blood on his stomach, and then I got looking a little bit more, and his wrist, it looked like the skin on his wrist was just torn off.
Authorities say the man was swimming about 60 yards from shore. Shark experts say Hawaii comes in distant second for shark bites in the U.S. after Florida. Santa Anita had its third horse death in 9 days when a gelding pulled up during a race and was euthanized. 26 horses have died in racing or training at the Southern California track since December 26. The Los Angeles Times reported the horse Cochise sustained an injury to its left front leg in a race Saturday. The newspaper reports during surgery Sunday it was determined that the 9-year-old horse had lost blood flow to the leg and the decision was made to put it down. In West Virginia, the Monongahela County Health Department says a fourth raccoon tested positive for rabies this year after getting into a fight with the family's dog. Usually I'm good with pronouncing names. Monongahela. Thank you, Brandon. The dog is up to date on shots and was revaccinated. People who came into contact with the dog will get rabies shots. Health officials urge people in the county to get their pets vaccinated for rabies.
Forecast to start the week is pretty much the way the last week ended. Muggy, sticky, warm, not too hot today, not as hot as it has been, but it's still going to be pretty warm. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar as we start out the day today. Not too much to scan this morning after a lot of activity last night. A line of showers and storms, some of those on the strong to severe side rolled through. Still hundreds and thousands of people without power this morning. Visibility is the big issue this morning. We're looking at the limited visibility across the region. Temperatures, though, fairly uniform, 63 to about 68. That's not too much of a change from yesterday. A couple of degrees cooler in some spots, just a little bit warmer in others. 86 today. Chances for scattered showers and storms later in the day, but for the most part, just clouds and sunshine and hot and humid conditions. Will?
All righty, Brennan. Thank you, sir. Well, thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way.
He's an internet sensation, and he's only 6 years old. I'm Chris Martinez. I'll introduce you to Popeye the Foodie Dog.